Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 36 of the Commix. 36. I feel like we're on 37. I don't even know
On
anymore.
episode
We have
50,
so
I
many
don't know.
shows. Who knows? Who knows? Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Technique, and I'm sitting here with my co-host, Matt, aka Not Hot Plays. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, Frank? Another good week, another good weekend started. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing great, man. Doing great. We're off to a good start. We're off to a good start. In the comic book world, things are going to start heating up pretty fast. It is March. We know that we had a little lull for a while. News and everything was kind of like on a drip, I would like to say, filled with a lot of trailers and what ifs and stuff that's coming down the pipeline. A lot of speculations and you name it. But we already started. The Batman is out and in full force. Granted, I don't know how well it's doing in the theaters. I can tell you right now, it's not a big hit when it comes to like sales out the gate on from my theater, because I can literally get tickets today. But
same thing,
as I heard from everybody, I think it's more word of mouth that's going to sell this movie. It wasn't hyped like Spider-Man. It's not a Spider-Man hype movie. It's not a Marvel hype movie. But people are so anxious for DC to do well, they're going to go out and probably see it. Or I think once somebody sees it and tells their friends about it and be like, yo, this is actually damn pretty good. This is actually, you know what? He's no longer the vampire that sparkles in the sunlight. He's the night. He's the Dark Knight at night, baby. This is the Batman we've been waiting for. It's got a lot of good things in it. And yeah, Matt saw it. I have not. Planning to see it this week at some point in time. I just wanted to see how ticket sales were. Seats were wide open for morning time shows. I'm pretty sure it's a night movie. One of those night movies, the movies that do well at night. Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think, man? Yay or nay? Not you, Matt. I know you're gonna have a lot to say on it, but chat, if you've seen it, what do you think? Well, we're gonna be going through a couple of other announcements too before we get into it. We're gonna be talking about some new Marvel comics, new DC reveals. We're gonna be talking about Batman, of course, and you got homework coming up, and we are going to be talking about some changes coming to the comics show. That's very important. So we'll hit that around the middle to the end time. But let's talk about what's in the news, and that's the Batman. The Batman. All right. So you've seen it, Matt. How do you feel about the Batman?
Well, yeah. So are we just starting this segment now? Like this is we're going in with it?
Well, I mean, it's the hottest thing to talk about. I think that's what we need to do. I feel we're going to spend the most time on talking about Batman. So no spoilers, by the way. There's going to be no spoilers in this.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Probably need to put that in the title, honestly. It's no spoiler. I haven't seen it, and I know a lot of you probably have not seen it yet. But this is going to be a no spoiler pseudo review, and I have some reviews from friends of mine as well.
Yeah. So as far as the Batman goes, first off, it is actually doing really well, which is weird, like you said, because I was the same way too. I was talking to Chad all week. I'm like, I think I'm going to go see it on Friday, but wow, wait a second. Is it going to be sold out? And every theater I looked at wasn't wide open, but I didn't expect that many seats to be there. And to hear from what they're saying today, it looks like it's going to haul in anywhere between 115 to $120 million, which is like the fifth all time in March. Which
is that worldwide or is that
no? That's just domestic. That's domestic. 115 to 120, and if you put it up against the movies that have been coming out and just in general, it's actually really good. Because it's also hard to compare with obviously 3 or 4 years ago. But as far as the Batman goes, I enjoyed it. Yes, for those of you out there and for Frank as well, it is a hair under 3 hours. And to save you a little time, you don't have to wait till the end credits. It's DC, you don't have to worry about that. Or even mid credits. You just, as soon as the credits roll, you could dip, all right? It was actually weirdly refreshing because we've had Marvel type movies and shows for a long time now that we've been going to and enjoying. And even DC went that route too. Like if you watched Aquaman, it was superhero sci-fi with comedy. This very much, and I hate to put it this way, but this very much went back to a Christopher Nolan-esque, Matt Reeves. This is very much Matt Reeves, not Christopher Nolan, but it's the easiest way for me to explain it. This isn't Zack Snyder's dark and gritty. This isn't that type of movie. It is a very story-driven detective action movie, and the cinematography is fantastic. The story is great. Every time I looked at Penguin,
Will Ferrell?
there's not a Colin Farrell. There was
Colin
not
Farrell,
a
sorry.
second that I thought it was him. They did such a good job with makeup, such a good job with his voice. I was looking, you know how we are. I was looking for those things, man, and I didn't see it. Was it a perfect movie? No. But seeing the Batman portrayed in this way, I loved it. It was incredible. It's not a movie for everybody. Marvel movies are for just about everybody. This movie is not for everybody.
Why is that?
Well, it's borderline R. Like there's
good.
there's some scenes where I was like, "Oh, he's going to do it." Oh, like they went ham with it. There's no cursing, but the brutality of it. And for those of you who have seen it, there's a lot of things in the third act where I was like, "Oh, this is PG-13." Like I'm very, very happy that they took Batman and said, "We can't do what other companies are doing with it. We have to do it this way." The Riddler, it's weird not seeing the question marks and like the Jim Carrey and everything.
Jim Carrey.
But his take on it and the way they perceive it is like, this is what would happen in the real world. Like the bat suit, I know I'll talk about some things that I don't think necessarily work, but the bat suit, the way how it was very tactical and SWAT and very much was reminiscent of the Batman Arkham series. Beautiful. And Zoe Kravitz, you are
we talking about Lenny's baby over here.
Yo, as Selena Kyle, as Cat, every single scene that she is in, she steals it. You forget Batman is there. You forget Penguin is there. You forget Falcone's there. Like, you forget that they're there. She absolutely destroys. And she, even though they're supposed to be like year 2, right? She's been doing this Catwoman thing for a while, you could tell, because the way she moves and the way she beat the out of some people and went toe-to-toe with Batman, which you saw in the trailers, it was good. It was good. I think, Frank, when you go see it, I think you're going to enjoy it. I think you're going to like it. I know there's going to be parts you're going to pick apart because I think it's going to be the same things that I can say about it. But as far as the way they portrayed Batman and the detective elements of it, man, seeing the actual world's greatest detective finally for a Batman movie. I mean, I got my rankings. I could say it later as far as Batman films coming out of this one, but this movie, I want to go see it again, and I hope I can see it again. But I thought it was fantastic. And like, I like it that I go back to it. It was a change of pace. Even though Spider-Man No Way Home got a little bit dark with Green Goblin and everything, but this whole movie was that. We got a movie that didn't feel like a Marvel movie. It felt like a DC movie and hopefully a new start.
Okay, good. I was gonna ask, does this feel refreshing as it should be a refresh? Should it be like step 1? Okay, good.
Yeah, and the good thing
that's what
is,
we were hoping for.
And the good thing coming out of it is too. Now I don't know. This still hasn't been said that this is going to be a new DC universe. But they're taking this, and they've already said that they got a Gotham PD about how it's all corrupt coming to HBO Max. You have a spin-off Penguin series, which I think is going to be. I want to see more of that, and they just announced it yesterday, actually. A hardcore kind of like Oz Arkham Asylum show coming out. That's gonna be interesting. So
I don't think any comic book can beat them on the levels of that.
Yeah.
If they do it right. Well, that's awesome. Good news is Matt's not the only one that feels that way. I have some very hard critics that I go to for things. Some people are so hard that we bump heads on a daily basis. But she is like my sister. I'm going to read an exact quote by her.
We got a couple in chat too, so
yeah, you can
yeah, so Lars brought up, I love the casting of Jim Gordon, and his and Batman's working relationship is portrayed very well. I agree. Jeremy Wright, I think is his name, Westworld. He was the Watcher. Ooh, in What If. He played a very, very good Jim Gordon, and the way they worked together and how they talked about their relationship, I agree with you, was really, really, really good. Zoe Kravitz as a goddess, basically. Jeffrey Wright, there we go. And then I think there's one up top. Do you have her quote?
Yeah, so Kate Sanchez, who's a really, really close friend of mine, she goes by Old My Myth Rondier on
Does that sound
Twitter.
familiar? Yeah.
And she owns a company called But Why Though, and they do movie screenings, they do comic screenings, manga, you name it. They go out before everybody else to get to see the movie, do their reviews, and I trust her a lot because she's very critical. Very, very critical and to the letter. She's not shy about saying anything. If a movie has bad representation, she will let you know. If a movie doesn't really treat anything, like it should, she will let you know. She's a huge comic book fan, so much that she studied comic history in school, in college.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
Yes. And she's very, really good friend of mine. Love her to death. Anyway, she says the Batman is the best representation of Gotham on screen since Batman '89.
I was just typing that down. That's something I wanted to say. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. There is a gothic beauty and a grime that comes directly from the comics, and the city is its own character. It's perfect setting for a story that finally gives us Batman being, Batman, she says. I'm in love with the Batman, she says. It's a detective noir.
Yes.
It's violent, it's twisting, and the chemistry that the cat and the bat have is the best I've ever seen. This is my favorite Batman put on screen. Pattinson is stellar as Vengeance. He's learning to be Bruce, and it works well. Capturing hopelessness of Gotham and Batman's role in that is crucial to telling an interesting and good Batman story. But by the third act, everything is set for a future where Batman embraces Bruce as well. She says, give me all the sequels. She says the Batman isn't concerned with what came before it cinematically. Yeah. It isn't trying to keep up with the spectacle of superhero movies. But it's in love with the comics, and in love with Gotham, and in love with Batman. She said, God, I truly can't explain my love for this movie.
Yeah, like if you didn't know comic books and you saw the trailers, yeah, you would think it's a superhero film. But once you went and watched it, it is unlike, and chat, for those of you that's seen it, even though it's Batman, it doesn't feel like a Batman film. It feels like a detective noir movie, even though it was Batman, even though it was Catwoman, even though it was Penguin, like we know all those elements, it just felt like a good movie. Like I don't know how to explain it, which I think is maybe a good thing.
So what I'm hearing is it felt like Michael Keaton's Batman, but it was like the excitement that you got from it was Michael Keaton's Batman, because that was a lot of detective work in that movie. It wasn't really super action packed.
Oh, but this goes further. Yeah,
the Batman cartoon.
I see where you're going with that. Yeah,
because the Batman cartoon was 100% a detective mystery. I mean, it wasn't. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, I would definitely say it's definitely a combination.
To see it.
I will
I'm very excited to see it.
I was typing it down. They shot this film in a bunch of different locations, and I think at least 50% of it, I think in certain parts of it was in the UK. But unlike the prior Batmans before it, and even Man of Steel and Dawn of Justice, where you looked at it and said, yeah, that's Chicago. Yeah, that's.
I was gonna ask, did it look like it was done on a stage? Because that's what most of Snyder's stuff looked like.
No, it looked like Gotham. Like when you watched Batman '89, the Keaton verse, it was Gotham City. It wasn't New York City. It wasn't, Chicago or anything like that. Gotham looked like there was no landmark, at least that I knew, that when I looked at it, I was like, oh, it took me out of the element. Even the Gotham Garden didn't take me out of the element. You could take that what you will. Here's actually, this is the best representation of the Wayne Manor. The Wayne Manor, I haven't heard anyone talking about this. It's Batman. It is.
Was it?
You have to go.
Cartoon
You have
Batman?
to see it.
Or was it like
dude,
Michael Keaton Batman?
No,
because I didn't like the. I never liked any of the Wayne Manors because they were too high tech.
No,
like,
dude,
it was like,
No, this is like Middle Ages. Very gothic.
Very cartoon.
It's very gothic. Comic. Yeah, it's really cool.
Because that was an abandoned manor that he just inherited.
Yeah, we didn't get it in Batman Superman. We got like this torn down, blown up, fired thing. Keaton's Batcave was really, really cool. He had the best Batcave in my opinion. I think
very gothic, good. That's how it should
very
be.
Gothic. It's very underground. There are a couple of things that didn't work, but go ahead. I'm sorry, because I could talk about this for hours.
No, I mean, from what I'm gathering about it and what people are saying, it seems like it's the best Batman that we've seen. I really liked. I'm trying to place where I would like it. I liked Christopher Nolan's. I liked the Dark Knight series. I thought they were really good. People have to say what they say about them, but overall, from what we were working with at the time, I thought those were really damn good. And I mean, let's not discredit Heath Ledger's Joker, which made those films. I mean, made that one film. Let's be real, it wasn't Batman. But from what it looks like a romantic love for the comic and just the idea and the character builds of Batman. From what I'm seeing, the world looks very carefully constructed. They finally did Catwoman justice. There's nothing wrong with Haley Bailey. She's a gorgeous woman to look at, but that's what they used her for, to look at. It seems like Kravis took it by the handle and went ham. I saw a Twitter post by her a long time ago, where she kind of spoiled, I guess, the idea that she was Catwoman. Oh, okay. Because she said, if I was Catwoman in the film, and I'm like, girl, you broke NDA without breaking it, smart ass. And she was just running around her apartment and acting like Catwoman. But she was doing it in a very parody way. She was like, oh Batman, my God, girl, and stuff like that. But it's funny how she really owned that role. I mean, looking at her on red carpet events and the screening events, the way she was looking at the camera was very Catwoman-like. Yeah. I thought she like embodied the character, and it took a part of her real life persona as well, which is very important in film. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the casting is very, very, the way you just brought that up, the casting of these characters are very particular. Like they went for some, like you look at Zoe Kravitz and how her face is, it's very stoic. It almost kind of like has a
angular face just by a woman anyway, right?
Yeah,
it's like very nice bone structure, very angled,
but
very comic booky.
Yes, but same thing with Robert Pattinson, like the way his nose comes down, especially in the bat suit. Like you look at them and it's like, I get it. I see it. When you see that, I don't see Robert Pattinson in the bat suit either. Like we just talked about Penguin. I don't see Colin Farrell. I don't see Batman. When he's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. It's weird, right?
Because it is, but it isn't, because I haven't seen.
He's young.
Like he's gone on after Twilight, he's gone and done a bunch of indie stuff. He was up for awards. Yeah. He's done and shown his acting chops, especially in this movie as well.
Good.
But I haven't seen those. My last version of seeing him on screen was actually no, I saw him in Inception, but I can't remember the role. But I saw him as the twerkly, like.
Well, his memorable roles is Harry Potter and Twilight.
And you watch it and it's like, oh, this isn't the same guy. But you still see it, but it's that weird thing. It doesn't take you out, though. It doesn't take you out.
Okay. Well, All right, there's a couple of questions I have for chat and you.
She brings the perfect amount of charisma and sexuality, but none of it is overpowering. Yes, Lars.
I was gonna ask, was the sexuality there? Because it's very important to really show that. Catwoman is a very sexual character. We know. I mean, she's manipulative and made for that. In the comic books, Batman, the way they portrayed in the comic books and cartoons, to me was perfect. He was sexual too, but he didn't show it like on the outside. He was more of just standing there and kind of taking it, but kind of wanting it at the same time, right? So I wonder if they portrayed that well in the movie. Because now we're getting into the particulars. Like, what did Robert do that was different from every other Batman?
Well,
did the fact that Catwoman was a black woman distract you from anything? Because I know that's a hard question to answer and be real, because people, let's just be real. Catwoman has been a brown skinned woman more than she has a white woman in film, but in the comic books, she's a white woman.
No, I mean, back in the day in the comic book, she was that too, because if you look at the Adam West Batman series, it was Eartha Kitt, which was. But yeah, if you look at like percentages, I guess you're right. There is versions of Catwoman that is representation as white.
Represented more as a white woman. So how did you feel about that? Do you think that she just embodied Catwoman, that it wasn't even a thing to think about? Or was it so nice seeing the chemistry between those two actually being different, make something happen in movie magic that doesn't necessarily happen often? Those are important questions, because when we get into casting, people have a lot of problems with a character being portrayed as a different race when they don't do any research, because at the end of the day, most superheroes are Caucasian. But I think it's really great that nobody's making that a focus. From every review that I've seen, it's been Catwoman, Batman. It's like what Miles Morales wanted as Spider-Man. Just call me Spider-Man. Not the black Spider-Man, not the black Catwoman, not the black Batman. It's just like Batman, Spider-Man. So I really hope that was a thing.
They have definitely had chemistry, and whether it's between they didn't really know they knew of each other. They didn't really necessarily work with each other before, but you could see that there was chemistry on screen, even when he had to be the sections where they were interested in each other. It was there, but the way they interacted and the way they played on each other, I thought was very good. But this goes back to the casting that they definitely brought a lot of diversity into this movie. Not as much as I think people recognized, but seeing it not just not just seing white guys everywhere, like in all the other films,
right? Because Gotham is a city of
Gotham is
everything.
It's everything, and you definitely very much got a lot of that. And one thing I actually literally just thought about because of ethnicity, chat, for those of you who see it, you think of dirty cops, you think of the mob, and you think of Italians. I actually just realized they played that really well, because outside of Gordon, a lot of those cops spoke with a "Hey, you" accent, and those were the dirty guys. They had the Italian fake accent.
Because I was going to say that they portrayed everything as New York Gotham in every rendition of Batman. Funny.
Man, that was
So another thing is, the thing that makes Batman so successful as a comic book is that the Batman is not about just Batman and not about Catwoman and Penguin, the characters. It's about Gotham. The city is alive. The city has a character in itself. And that's something that I'm really glad that Kate said in her review, because at the end of the day, Gotham is just as, or even more important than Bruce Wayne and everyone else, because you can't have an environment be rich or not be rich with characters that are just so explosive. You got to almost have a balance, or even if you want to like Gotham more than you like what's on the screen, just because the more immersion you bring to the film, the more the person's going to be interested in it and can sit to a 3-hour movie. Lars says that, let's see. He said, personally, I like the Bat voice. Anybody who says has a problem with Catwoman is just racist. Honestly, she played that part perfectly. And Casual said, when I saw it was Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, I immediately thought perfect choice. Same.
Yeah.
Just seeing the let's talk about the marketing behind this.
Oh God.
We don't get good marketing from DC. Let's just be real. The Batman was fantastic. The amount of posters they made, I thought they were fan made. There was like 20 some odd posters.
And it was all detective driven too, because
all
they all had
detective,
some type of like
very
black
noir.
light, dude. Very noir, yeah. That red,
Like,
they used
monochromatic.
red.
It was dope.
Yeah,
Yes,
they
the
used
red
that
and black.
red instead of the black and the white. They used it as like a blackish, grayish, and red, which just set it over the
very
top.
smut,
Yeah.
dirty.
Yeah.
I really, really like it. Very, very, very good. I feel like there was a lot of thought put into this. It almost feels like they were giving money and he was just like, just do what you do at best, hands off. And I want to say, I mean, granted, this movie is being filmed probably over like the past couple years.
You said something
I
funny.
wonder if James Gunn's style of doing things has a lot to do with the inspiration that has been going on, or vice versa, because you could tell that they's like, James, have fun, like make us money. Here you go. Do what you do best. I feel like from what I've seen from these reviews that this is something that's probably happened. They were like, hey, we have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Okay. At this point, we need a fresh start. We need people back in the theaters. We need people to like enjoy what they see, do what you got to do. And Robert Pattinson actually had a quote saying that he was the last person he would thought on Earth to be casted as Batman. So it's really cool to see him embody a role that was a challenge. I want to say the same for Tom Holland in Uncharted. It's a challenge. Those are challenging roles because number one, you're playing something completely out of your element that nobody would ever imagine you being. Number two, it's got weight, right?
Yeah.
Batman has huge baggage to carry on and a huge fan base. So does Drake and Uncharted. So does Spider-Man. I mean, these are some huge roles that these people are filling. Has DC finally found its casting glory? Have they finally found a key that fits a keyhole that they've been trying to unlock for such a long time?
So
should it be a TV series versus a movie that was 3 hours? Should they continue this with a TV series? Those are the questions we're going to explore.
So to hit on a couple of those, was there a movie that came out between James Gunn's Suicide Squad for DC and the Batman? We've had a TV series in Peacemaker, but there hasn't.
Absolutely
okay.
not.
So here's the thing. Well, I guess Justice League 2, but it's the Snyder Cut. But put that to the side because that's not relevant. No. It came out before, but you'll hear what I'm saying. These past two movies, DC finally said to James Gunn and Matt Reeves, here. And they didn't touch it afterwards, unlike Snyder
no edits,
and unlike the original Suicide Squad. They didn't make it theirs. Like the directors had final cut, I believe is the industry term, right? They had final cut, and you can tell that this was from the score, dude. The beginning note.
There are
bro.
so many memes about the score. This is lady anchor for a very, very, very big news. I'm not going to say it because they don't pay us. News and media. And during live, she was up there and she broke this down and made a TikTok of it. But live, they were like, yeah, the Batman movie. And she was just like, the whole time, and her anchor buddy was like, the hell are you doing? And she just kept doing it. She's like, and then she made a TikTok where she's like, I can't get the theme out of my head. I just can't get it out of my head. Everywhere I go, I'm just like, like, so, there's so many memes about it.
You know, the X-Men theme, like that's iconic. Superman is iconic. Star Wars is iconic. The original Spider-Man, the cartoon theme songs, the
Avengers music,
the animated series Batman and the Adventures of Batman, the animated series, had the iconic Batman music. And just like how Tom Holland's Spider-Man series kind of made it their own, but also put the old school sound in it, right? That's what they did with this Batman theme, this is the Batman music. It is, you can't, like, you think of it, you hear, as soon as you're like, that, oh, that's Batman. Like, some shit's
You
about
know
to go
what?
down.
You
That's
gave me an
Batman.
idea
It is
what I want to do.
awesome, man.
I want to get Gary Whitta on this show.
I was actually just telling Paul that the other day because he has a series coming out too.
I mean, we're decent friends.
Oh, cool.
He's a writer.
Yes.
You know, he's wrote Rogue One, Book of Eli, which I loved, and people have what they say about it.
I love that movie one too. Yeah.
I thought it could be more, honestly. He wrote tons of movies. I want to get him on his show and like pick his brain about writing and what he feels about. Because Gary Whitta he don't hold any punches. Straight up dude.
Yeah.
I want to get him on the show and have him talk about what he thought about like the Batman and all that stuff. So I'm gonna hit him up today and be like,
there's so many different versions too, and he just created his own version that either just came out or it's coming out later this month. I mean, that would be, I would love to hear it because there's so many versions of Batman you portrayed, especially like, why did you go this route? What was your idea?
Right.
What is dichotomy? Because I think he even said, I think Superman's in it too. So I got some questions there. But man,
I'm just very interested to get an actual writer up here who's like been in the business for so long. What do you think about it? But this sounds fantastic. This makes me really, really happy for DC. They needed a win, man, like in theaters, like big time. I thought that Suicide Squad was good, but I didn't think it was like, my God, blow down the doors, like, but it sounds like Batman is starting to like knock on some doors here.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised. And I think this also happened with one of the, I think, well, it was actually The Dark Knight. You're gonna hear people talk about this during award season from acting, from cinematography, from directing. You're 100% gonna hear it. It's
especially since there's not a lot of movies being released in the first place. I mean, it is little to none. To the fact that they're extending, movies that are already out now to extend more in the theaters. I think this is a power play. I think they have a group of cards in their hand, and it's like, how do you play these cards? We put out a very big card. We threw the Joker down early. This is great, no puns intended. And what can we do now with HBO Max and TV series? If they are borderlining that R PG-13, HBO Max could be a very good outlet for them to really expand on this Gotham. They really need to expand on it. The Penguin looked absolutely freaking fantastic makeup wise, and a lot of times when it comes down to accessorizing people that are not the main characters, DC kind of misses the ball. But it looked fantastic. It looked like a love punch to Michael Keaton's Batman. It looked like a love punch to the cartoon. It looks like a love punch to the comics. I'm very excited to see it. It's like one of those things where you touch a newspaper print for the first time and that black gets on your fingers type greenness, not where you're like, oh God, I touched dirty money. It's more like, oh God, this is starting to feel kind of like we got some weight to this. So I hope this is day one. I would rather them keep this Batman and expand on this world, give us some more. I think to the fans, if you're listening out there, you're going to have the power in this. You're going to have to tell DC how much you love this movie if you love this movie. Because the more you say that, the more they're going to be compelled to make more movies, keep Robert Pattinson as Batman for a very long time, and keep Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, and do some... I just don't want to spin off of everybody. I don't think they need that. But telling the story of the villains, quote unquote, because Penguin has a very sad story. Telling that side of the spectrum, going to the asylum and giving us what's happening behind the bars and what's really going on, the big plots, giving us more losses for Batman losing and learning from those losses. Those are things that make DC.
When are we going spoiler with this?
If that's what we got, good news.
No, not today. But in the next week or the following week, once Frank sees it, we'll get spoilery because there's a couple of things in there that you said that was really cool in the movie and how they went into making it very real. It's still weird saying a comic book movie is real world, but the way the Riddler...
Batman's an easy way to do that.
Yeah, he is very true. It's not
like
someone
in the alleyways
flying.
In the streets. Yeah.
I mean, Gotham is New York City.
Thing.
It really is.
Right. Right. Yeah. The back streets, what really happens in Gotham, and I think that's important. That's really important to go back to choreography of fight scenes, like actual choreography. And not and then having cinematography play a big role in that, and lighting effects, and like just the nature of it all, feeling like we're in the streets watching on the corner and stuff is happening in front of us. Those are things that will make movie magic be a little bit more magical. And I think that's going back to, like I said, I keep saying Michael Keaton's Batman, but that's how they filmed that thing. It was in streets and had cameras everywhere, lighting effects, and they're right there. It wasn't cinematography. I mean, it wasn't CGI. It wasn't a lot of computer effects. It was like, people getting punched and thrown around and flung through shit. And that's why you watch Batman. And that's what makes that film what it needs to be.
So there, what was I just about to say? I loved this being year 2 Batman. We've talked about it before. I'm happy they're not doing an origin story, but I'm happy they didn't make a Batman that was.
Well, we got an origin story. It was just an origin story of Bruce, not Batman.
Oh yeah, okay.
From what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
like transitioning into Bruce Wayne or something.
Yeah, he very much, and it's been said out there. He very much, and he says it too in the movie. Like he very much is the Batman and not Bruce Wayne. Towards the end of the film, I think he kind of figured out I have to start figuring out a balance between these two. But he is very much Batman. But the year 2 aspect of it is really cool because not only is he year 2, but a lot of the villains are young. But it also does show off a Batman that we haven't seen before because he isn't perfect.
Good.
And I love
what
that.
What makes Batman good is the fact that he loses a lot.
Yes. And I love the fact, I want to say this is the first time that we've seen it in a big succession. Seeing Batman get absolutely riddled by bullets and seeing him, like we did in the cartoons, take the bullets and that was awesome. You haven't seen Batman do that in film before, I believe. And it's those little things. But there was one other thing that I wanted to say that you brought up. So I brought up Batman not being perfect. The villains being very brand new too. And
what's that to do with the fight scenes or about being
so yeah, in regards to the villains, that's a great way how they bring you in and they bring this down from sci-fi and down from a comic book movie. Their backstory, specifically the Riddlers, you're like, oh, that's really effed up. That's probably something that happened here. Especially some of the things he said, it's like, oh, wow. And I was like, the corruption in Gotham is probably what's going on today, too, which was really cool, too.
Good. Gotham was all about the city being the biggest villain of them all. Like, Gotham is the biggest villain. Like, the hardest, the final boss, it's like Gotham itself. And I think I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, but I think they kind of gave us a little bit of that in the Gotham show. How everything was just, they had their own sectors. Like everything was its own living, breathing animal when it came to a city.
He did know.
So Baki says, I love how grounded this movie is where the third act was about developing Batman. Yeah. More than just a big CGI fight scene. Well, that's good. That's good.
So that's where I start to have my critiques / issues / I don't think it worked well. And I think your friend said it before, like the first and second act were fantastic. Yeah. The third act is where
she said he was transitioning into Bruce in the third act.
So they built up to something.
Learning how to be Bruce.
Yes, they built up to something in the third act, and there was something about it compared to the first two that was off to me, and I wasn't. I was off put by it, and I can't really necessarily put my finger on it. It wasn't bad, it wasn't horrible, but the first two acts were so good. The third left me wanting more, and I kind of wish they did things different.
What do you mean you wish it would things? You wish they
like
would have spent more time as
they were
Batman, or you wanted more like explosive like scenes him as
so
Batman, or
the first two acts were really harping on I am vengeance,
mm,
especially the way they shot, and those of you who see it, I'm not gonna spoil it, the way he comes into scenes and how they shot it, unlike any other Batman I've ever seen before. It was smart and it was absolutely awesome.
mm,
Because they took a different route from it, and that's what made it cool. Um, but I think your friend may be wrong. I would love to have a good discussion actually with her. I don't think he was turning into
let me
Bruce.
find what you said again.
So I just said it. He was the first two
She
acts. He was
said,
very much vengeance, and that symbol being striking fear into everybody. The third act was about
"Oh,
him.
just what she said." By the third act, everything is set for a future where Batman embraces Bruce. That's what she said.
Yes, but I I didn't get it as much as she did. Like I know that's what they're gonna set up with the little things here and there. But what I thought was the first two acts was this vengeance Batman, and coming towards the end of it was the transition to striking fear into everybody, to him striking fear into the bad guys, but he's the good guy here. That's where I think it
Is he the
flipped.
good guy? I don't know. See, if that's the
The
way it
way
ends, I'm not gonna like it, because here's the deal. The reason why I like DC like films or like comic books, let's just say,
not the good guy,
it's,
but you can trust him. Certain people can trust him, if that makes sense.
okay. I mean, I guess.
Outside of Jim Gordon, which was actually great. Their portrayal also being year two and showing how they
Mm,
worked before together. Their back and forths, the little quips. You don't think it would work in Batman? It
mm.
does. It's pretty
Okay.
cool.
I can't wait to see it. Because the reason why I like Batman in that world is that Batman makes decisions based off of the very selfish ass decisions, and anytime he thinks he's doing the right thing, he thinks he's doing it for other people, it ends up being for him and his ways. So I'm kind of like hoping that we get that, because uh they always made Batman out to be like a superhero and he's a vigilante, and I
Yeah.
really just can't stand that in movies. It's like, when it almost is like, this is why I liked Heath Ledger's Joker, is because I didn't peg him as the villain. I pegged him as a person that was just tired of shit, and he was like the most real person on screen. He was just like, this is the world we live in, this is how shit happens, you need to stop acting like you're a superhero, and let's be real, you're just as bad as me. And that's the type of word I'm like,
Yeah.
give me more,
Yeah.
and like I don't like seeing Batman as a Superman figure, and like everybody's like, oh, it's Batman, yay. No, I want people to be like, oh shit, it's Batman, like, let's get the hell out, like, type thing. So I'm really interested in seeing how they portray that.
That's so they did that really well. And
Mm,
and I did you saw Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice, right?
unfortunately.
Did you like how Batman was brutal when he fought?
Yeah, I mean that's a Batman thing,
Yeah.
um yeah.
I don't think they did it well, but I think they did it perfectly in this film. I think the
Mm,
way that he got on guys was smart and good, and when he wanted to go ham, he went ham. And the little nods to teases and the things that we would know, or even some even like basic viewers of comics would know, that was actually very smart how they did it, because as much as before they were saying this is going to be a one-off, they were planning for the future and the success of this, because there's
it
too much
seems
there in a good
that's a
way.
safety net for them right now, and that's good. I'm glad they did that. Calling it a one-off is a way, if it failed, they could just get rid of it like they did every other film,
Yeah.
or they can continue it. And I really hope they take the HBO Max route, or even, yeah, HBO Max route. They wouldn't go anywhere else. I hope they go that route, and I hope they really explore because HBO Max don't give a, you can tell they really don't give a shit what you put on there. You can get some really interesting things on there, and I really hope that they really take that and start developing a world around and start developing Gotham itself to set us up for another film to where we're like, okay, we got the Batman, we got what's Gotham is effed up. And now we're going into this, and then once we get that movie, then we can get something branched off of that. Maybe Court of Owls can be a TV series on HBO Max, and then we can get a movie that introduces the Court of Owls in a different way, and all kinds of shit like that.
They've literally set up this universe for the two things that we have been talking about for the past month and a half, 2 months now. If they bring the story arc and put the pieces together in the Batman 3, the Batman 4, however they plan on bringing these movies out, where it is a Court of Owls overarching, this is why you saw this in the other films, or even a League of Assassins.
Oh, dude.
Like, they literally set it up
so happy
perfectly. Even though it's not necessarily in the film, you could see how it could go this way. Good. Yeah, the influence could definitely be there.
If the League of Assassins becomes a thing, I'd be that. It'll hit me as happy as I am to see like Avengers become a thing. Like, because I would love to see.
That's not my end.
Okay, there we go.
I was just a hiccup.
I would love to see. God dang! I guess they don't want me to say it on the internet. Okay, we're back.
Yeah, it's either Restream or Twitch right now. So
it's all good. It's all good. We're good. We're good. I would love to see the groundworks become the foundation to actually be seen and not put under some shallow dirt. You know?
Yeah.
And just have like Easter egg mentions here and there. Being able to see that world develop and like it could even be a standalone, and then we could be like, oh, that's where the Batman came from. You know, people that don't know. I think that's really important because that story was never told really well outside of comic books, in my opinion. And maybe some animations were good, but movie wise, no. TV wise, definitely hell not. Don't even get me started on Green Arrow and what they did with that. But you know, it's at least they attempted it, and there's just so much to be had right there. It'll be so nice. But anyway, that's good news. So if you're listening and you want to see the Batman, sounds like it's money well spent. Bang for your buck. Go out there and go see it. Tell us what you think. We're gonna give a 2-week cool down on this when it comes to spoilers, like we always do when it comes to movies. So in 2 weeks we'll have our spoiler show. I will harp on it next Saturday about what I thought about it, but it will be non-spoiler, so don't worry, listeners. We're gonna give you that 2-week cushion like we always do. So essentially like the 19th, I think we're looking at, give or take. Yeah, somewhere around there. I'm super excited. I really want DC to win. I really want to win for DC. And it's good because we have a pocket ace with Black Adam, and we hope that one is done well. The teaser trailers look hopeful, but that could be only thing that we get. So I'm being very optimistic and positive about the outcome for DC because I think this is a great place to be. Now, if I was to bridge both worlds together,
but it scares me. You talk about the future, and I think of this, and I think of Black Adam. And Black Adam is also a dark character where he comes from, how his family is, and his representation. Like, I mean, he essentially says it in the trailer, my son saved me. We know how. Like, it's Dr. Fate is not a PG character.
No.
But then you switch over and then you have the Flash and Aquaman. It's like, I don't know, man. Did they already say that those guys were in the same universe? I don't think they are. So the rumor has it is the Flash is going to meld, he could travel dimensions, blah, 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 and put things together. But I do think that they are going to make this its own universe, which is weird. Like, but I'm sorry. They're gonna make the Batman its own universe,
as it should be. Okay,
and like completely
we're gonna cut this
separate
off and move it over here.
Like Black Adam, Black Adam
can be away from it. I'm cool with this.
Like, but Matt Reeves actually said he doesn't have any plans, and I don't think he doesn't think he wants to have Superman anywhere near this. Yay. It just doesn't make sense in his universe, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Superman.
I'm sorry, Henry. You're awesome, and I love your character. But at the end of the day, I'm so sick of having. It's like, it's like when you tell your boy to come to your party. It's just the guys, man. We're gonna sit down and have a good time, and he brings his wife. Sorry, no bad to the wise, but I'm just saying you always have to have, have a tag along, or let me not say that. Let me erase that because I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that. That's okay.
Delete.
Or if you have your boys and you just want your friend, but he brings his friend that you don't even know to your house. Like that's what it feels like when it's always Batman and Superman. Yeah. It always feels like you have to have those two together now because of what they keep doing. It's good to have a standalone and build that shit separate, so to speak. I hope that they bridge off of this. Black Adam does seem like it's a part of Snyderverse or whatever verse that was created with all. The film, everything
the way it looks color wise,
just the whole stylization of the film feels Aquaman-y to me. It feels like all those other guys. Like it just feels like it belongs over there. Well, I hate to say because I don't think Dwayne Johnson does one-offs. Everything that he's been in had a sequel or a trilogy lately. So I can't even think of anything that has it besides that one movie where he was like a firefighter or some junk.
San Andreas,
or a rescue guy.
Was it San Andreas? The world-ending one?
San Andreas.
No, they got a sequel.
Oh, well, never mind it. Shit. I feel like everything he's been in had a sequel.
How does that get a sequel? It's done. How do you get a sequel, man?
Jeez Louise.
Oh my God.
But yeah. So I feel like everything that he does has a sequel or some kind of thing. So I don't think Black Adam I really don't think Black Adam's a runoff, like just a one-off, and that's it. I think it's gonna be a multiple series thing. And if Black Adam enters Batman's world, okay, I don't see the connection. I'm just thinking about the way this film is shot and written. It just doesn't feel like that universe. They belong together. I believe the Batman is like a Green Arrow. I don't even think the Flash belongs in the Batman. I just feel like this Batman thing needs to sit for a while and develop everything around the Bat. I'm talking about your Robins, your League of Assassins, your Court of Owls. Like it can literally just survive by itself for the next 5 to 10 years. No, I won't say 10 years, but the next 5 years. Planning out these movies, because these movies take years to shoot. That's why I'm saying that long.
And I mean, this one was obviously even longer with everything that's going on. This was slated for last year or 2 years ago, I think, to come out. But with everything, obviously, it didn't make it. And I mean, just to think that there's a 4-hour cut of this just blows my mind. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm hands down with you, and like a lot of people are saying, if they're turning Matt Reeves into the Kevin Feige of the Batman universe, which it seemingly is because he has his hands in the Gotham series, he has his hands in the Arkham Asylum series, and he has his hands in the Penguin series, and there's talks about its own Catwoman series, which I'm down for.
Wait, who did you say? Oh, Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves, the director of this.
Oh, yeah.
He's overseeing this universe.
Yeah, I think they have gold at the end of their rainbow. It's just how fast are they going to just agitate to get there? I think they're taking it slow and living off of this for a little while, and just slowly writing stories out is a good thing. Following comics is a really good way to get yourself a skeleton build of a universe that you can come off of. You can literally just take, and I really hope they do what Insomniac, and this is completely unrelated sources, but what Insomniac did with building Spider-Man, the game.
Yeah.
On both worlds, is that they didn't just take from one comic, or they didn't go with a series of things. They kind of like snagged both things and created something with that, instead of just saying, oh, this storyline look good at this act, and this storyline look at it. You could tell a lot of movies that just drag shit out and just kind of put it together. I hope that they grab all these things and they're like, wow, how can we make the Batman lose but gain experience at the same time? These villains be represented and people feel emotion towards these villains. And I think that's the important part. Is like feeling sorry for the villain and asking yourself, who's the real villain here? Or is there a good and bad? Is that a thing? Or is everything gray? As if they make Gotham color-coded that gray grittiness for a reason. Everything is there's a reason why Gotham is not the color explosion that you see in a lot of other movies. It represents the whole atmosphere of the environment that they live in.
There is so many layers within this movie too, which shows how Batman is new and how he's not perfect. And it even had me guessing, as someone that I think I know a lot of Batman stuff, not everything, but the way they rolled everything up until the end, like I actually didn't necessarily see it going in that direction. I saw like little bits. I could kind of tell the next one. And I thought when they finally said, this is it kept on going. I was like, oh, that's actually. And Riddler plays the long game. Anyway, I don't, dude,
That's good.
I really like the Riddler, man.
Well, if that's just a key to where villains are going, I think we're going to be in a good spot. Because one of my favorite quote unquote villains, I almost don't want to call them villains in this universe of Gotham, is Scarecrow, because I feel like he's very underrated and very underrepresented, and he's a very scary damn villain in the comic books, beyond belief. And he has worked Batman and Robin, especially Robin, multiple times, and proved that he is very formidable. And I really hope that they can portray that and really go ham in it, because if I lived in that world, Scarecrow is probably one of the people I don't want to ever be around.
He's a doctor. He's extremely smart. He's a psychopath. Like, it's a perfect combination.
He's a psychopath times two.
Yes.
Like, in human form and Scarecrow form, he's effed up, and it's because of his upbringing was absolutely effed up. My God, did you ever see the origin story of Scarecrow?
Oh yeah,
bro. If you guys
Crane?
haven't read it yet, or read the comic, or see even the animation, I think they have an animation on it as well. Go see that. And they even brought that into the Batman back in the day in the cartoons. And me being young, I was like, what is this? Like, is this allowed on TV? Because ratings were really different back in the day. They were so bad sometimes they had to make a new rating category for like the in-betweens. And like, just seeing his story just really messed up, man. Holy crap. So I also would love to see a new Bane, because as much as I loved Tom Hardy's Bane, and I loved it in a way, not for the character, I just loved the way Tom Hardy portrayed him. It wasn't really outside of that. I really would like to see a Bane. So good. Yeah, I love the voice. I don't care what people say. I loved the idea. I thought that
whole plane scene at the beginning of the movie
was really well.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought the quotes and the writing was really well done for him. Just there's a lot of problems I have there, but overall, I thought he was that was interesting.
So after seeing this, and we kind of talked about this last week, actually, I loved Penguin and I loved Riddler so much that I don't want to see the Joker for a while.
Yeah, we don't need to.
We don't need. At some point, yes, they're gonna bring him in, and I think they'll do a good job with it. You know what I'm saying, chat? But I want to see. If you're telling me this is a trilogy, I don't want to see Joker. If he's like in the back doing something and there's
I want to see Joker once they decide they want to go forward after the trilogy.
Yeah,
and I don't even want to see him. I want rumors of him. Because if think of it like this, the Joker, we never got a really good origin story of the Joker. I don't give a shit what people say about the Joker movie itself. I thought that was
you could call it Joker, but you can also call it something else at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I didn't feel for it at all, honestly. I was just like, I don't see why people are obsessed with this movie. I just don't get it. But anyway, I think the remnants of Joker and an influence that Joker has over people, I think the message in the Joker was pretty good. I thought that message was probably one of the best messages they had since Jack Nicholson, if you really want to say it. When it comes to the message that was delivered about the Joker and why the Joker became, why the Joker is important to Gotham, just as important as Batman is to Gotham. But I think that they missed the shot on that. There was a target and they kind of chipped it.
Yeah, like I'm going through right now. I just looked it up really quick. Like this is rated by Screen Rant, 15 of the best 15 of the best Batman villains of all time. Because I wanted to really just think about it really quick. So this is their 15 from bottom to top. Killer Croc, Black Mask, Clayface, Poison Ivy, the Penguin, Deathstroke, Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow at number 8, 7, Strange, 6, Bane, 5, the Riddler, 4, Harley Quinn, 3, Two-Face, 2, Ra's al Ghul, and then of course 1, the Joker. The reason why I looked that up really quick is I kept on coming up with
the rating of villains.
Yeah, because I wanted to get more of his villains, his main rogue gallery in my head. Because I keep on coming back to, because of how he told the story of the villains, and it wasn't just there, you really felt for them, which you talked about a couple of weeks ago, Mr. Freeze pops in my head number one.
Mr.
And,
Freeze
and
has
really,
a very, very sad story.
and especially with Nora, if they do, God, even half the justice that they did with the Riddler making you feel for him, that's going to be the best Mr. Freeze story, I think, period. But then I was trying to figure out, like, who else would be cool? They do set up certain things, potentially, non-setup wise. You could see Harvey Dent coming into power, even though it was already on film, but the take and how everything is corrupted and how you get corrupted could be really cool. And I went back to it. It would be interesting to really see Batman get his ass whooped by Deathstroke. Now, his story isn't necessarily well, but you could see him living in this world because of how Batman lives in this world. I still want to see a good Poison Ivy, and I would love to see a Clayface, but I think that's just too sci-fi out there for it. But what we'll probably get, maybe eventually, because it just fits too well, is we could probably even have a Black Mask somewhere in here too.
I think Killer Croc would be a really, really interesting thing in this universe because we don't know what we can see what they could do with makeup. So what are they going to do with Killer Croc? I think having a full CGI Killer Croc would be a very oddball thing to throw in there. So I wonder if they could really develop that. That'd be so cool.
Because they did so well with Penguin. Now he isn't Killer Croc, but they did so well with Penguin. You could probably do something like skin disease wise or something. And he try to transforms himself.
Dude,
and
makeup artists nowadays are just out of control. Look at the zombies in freaking Walking Dead and how they got better over time. Like those things are, you know. So I wonder. I'm pretty sure they could do some interesting stuff with Killer Croc. Who would be cool as Mr. Freeze? Oh man, I don't know. At this point, with the weird casting that DC does and that they did with this film and how it worked, anybody? It really just comes down to if you're a good actor or not. Look at Colin Farrell and how he played the Penguin. I mean, if the makeup's that damn good, as long as you have good acting skills, I guess you just can fit the mold. Like, you know, so that's just not Arnold Schwarzenegger, please. Other than that, yeah, I think I honestly think that they can do a really good job overall.
Honestly, the first person that comes to my mind because of how but then I mean, these are two Breaking Bad guys, but Bryan Cranston, I think, could be a good Mr. Freeze just because of his acting chops. But if you want to go a different route, because I never thought, even though he's portrayed as white, I don't see Mr. Freeze as white. Like a Giancarlo Esposito could probably play a badass one, I feel. Because you feel for him the way he tells his stories out there.
Interesting, yeah.
It would be a different.
I mean, at this point, it could be anybody. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like race-wise, it doesn't. At this point, it doesn't freaking matter. Okay, I had something.
You could play with the accent too.
So here's my thoughts. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I highly suggest two things that you could possibly do in your time of waiting. Go back and watch Michael Keaton's Batman. Then watch Dark Knight series. Have those in your head, and then go watch the Batman, and then place those together. And see, or if you don't have time to watch the trilogy of the Dark Knight, you don't even think you have to really do that. You can just watch the first film. What is it, Dark Knight Rises or
Batman Begins, Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises. Begins.
Yep. Watch that, and then watch Michael Keaton's Batman, and then go see the film and just see where it falls in place for you. There was something else I needed to say about that, and I completely forgot because my old brain.
I'm actually like scrolling through right now and I'm seeing like fan casting for some things and they're like way off, but then some of them are right on. Like Michael B. Jordan as Killer Croc would be awesome.
Michael B. Jordan as Killer Croc. He can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is very good at acting.
I would really like to see a Poison Ivy, but I just think I don't know. You think they could pull off Killer Croc? The more you talk about it, I'm like, yeah, they could probably do that. It's just
Poison Ivy would be. Yeah, I think they could find somebody to.
Seeing a Poison Ivy Catwoman back and forth, that would be nice. That would be nice. That's all I'm gonna say.
There's. I'm just thinking. I'm like, man, there's so many great characters that they can pull off. Yeah, I kind of want to stay away from Harley Quinn and Joker.
Yeah.
For a while because I mean we can see Harley Quinn, but just not just as a normal person, a normal quote unquote.
Yeah.
I think having her in the background, or he meets her somewhere, and
I mean, that's how it works.
you just know it's her from the accent only type thing. I think that's something that could be really good to play with and give people like the is that type thing. Kind of like what I guess we could say kind of what Marvel did with introducing characters. They kind of had somebody in the background, and you were just kind of like, was that? Nah, that probably wasn't him. And then later on you find out it was them. I think that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I agree with you. Staying away from the Joker is a good thing. I think developing a world around this Gotham and this Batman with characters that you read in comics that you don't necessarily see have a great fit in what movies have been already shown is a really good way to open the world up for everybody, especially brand new people that don't really have any kind of history with Batman. Creating that world as a moviegoer to enjoy that universe is very important, and it's something that we really haven't had since I guess you go Iron Man transition into Avengers in film. I mean, they tried it with what was that book they tried to come to light with Idris Elba in the Tower, the Dark Tower series.
Yeah, with Matthew
McConaughey. They tried
yeah.
and it just didn't hit, like it should have hit.
Mm-hmm.
That was a world that would have been perfect to be like, if they would have nailed it, it would have worked so well. People would don't read the books, would have been like, oh, what is this? And been sucked in. So with the upcoming of Batman and hopefully a win for DC to open a new door to a very successful lineup and phases of movies, do you think Star Wars can do the same? That's the big what if, now that Lucasfilms is now, Lucas everything is now back in full motion, so to speak. Will the actual council come up with something grand? And but when I speak of a council, I'm talking about an actual council that sits around a round table and decides the future of Star Wars. Will they be able to resurrect or let's not even say resurrect. Will they be able to create a world that they're planning on doing in the future to bring the new generation of moviegoers into a new universe? What new universe is coming? Avatar is coming back. That was a universe that was really well received. One of the biggest movies in history that kind of went on a hiatus.
Oh, you're talking about that Avatar. Never mind.
Yeah, that
I thought
Avatar,
you were talking about
Airbender. Hopefully Airbender does well, but my bar is like below the earth when it comes to that. So literally anything that they do.
M. Night Shyamalan, you son of a
dude. The here when it comes to Avatar, The Last Airbender, the cast already made that movie.
Oh yeah,
that movie better than what we've seen. Yeah. Just seeing the casting is already 100 times better than what they did before.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm interested.
They're doing so well with the TV series and branching new.
I think they can do it. I think Star Wars can do it.
Yeah, and branching new audiences with the fans. That I think they could do it with the movies too. Now. Is it going to stay within the Skywalker universe? I don't know.
Hopefully not.
Maybe it's better to do another galaxy a long time ago, even farther away. Like, I don't know.
They just need to do Old Republic.
Yeah, they just got to do Old Republic. Yeah.
I'm sick of this shit. All right? You need to do Old Republic. That's where if they nail Old Republic, they can do whatever they want to do. If the history is there, people can be like, okay, now I know why a Jedi is a anyway, I know why the Republic is not really that great. That'd be so nice. But anyway, whatever. I'll go on a rant about that. Here's a funny thing. Star Wars competition. Let's talk about that. It
Star
only
Wars
took one
competition?
Movie. Dune. That dude, I don't know. I might be the only one on this, but I feel like the Dune, that movie, that shit was beautiful from start to finish, fam. And if they nail the second and third, like they nailed that first one, which they already shot, by the way. Dude, I feel like Dune,
right. Trust me,
I
really?
feel like Star Wars is going to be a fart in the wind if they don't hit those numbers right. And not a fart in the wind. I think it's just going to be a Disney series at the end of the day when it comes to TV. I feel like Dune has taken the cake and starting to eat it at this point.
Is there enough there to
the
branch off?
cinematography, the score, the actors, the casting, the world building?
It's literally Star Wars, but
Everything.
So you're telling me on HBO Max I should go watch Dune tonight?
You've never seen Dune?
I haven't seen the movie.
Have a great episode, everybody. This man didn't watch Dune yet. I cannot. What? Bro, I'm about to watch it for you.
Oh no.
It is so good. Timothy, whatever the heck, what's his last name?
The kid, right?
Let me go find it real quick. It's probably something I can't say.
Well,
Timothy,
here. So then, since I haven't seen it, the only thing I've seen Dune wise was obviously this stuff back in the day. I know it's I know it was a big book series. So before I potentially watch it tonight, I'm sorry. I don't think I've said anything before that has hurt, right? Before like this. Whoa, son of a. Bro,
hear me when I say.
Oh my God.
That movie has beat every rendition. There is out of all the new Star Wars movies, there's none that touch Dune with the 10-foot pole. I'm gonna say it right then and there. 100%. You can go into Dune dry as hell, no moisturizer, don't know nothing about Dune, and fall in love with that movie the moment the score comes on.
All right. So
simple as that. And this is coming from a big Star Wars fan. Simple as that. The moment you hear the score from start to finish, dude, let me tell you right now, you know what makes Star Wars magical is the creatures in the wardrobes, right?
Yeah.
Dune slaps the wardrobe, the cinematography, the world building, the characters, the message, everything from man. I'm gonna tell you, dude, I don't praise a lot of movies like hardcore like this, but I was thoroughly impressed with Dune, and I went in with very low expectations.
Really?
So,
God.
Yeah, it's good. Sorry.
Wait, is Dune even on HBO Max? Why can't I find this?
Right. Yeah, it was on HBO Max. Dune was incredible.
Browse collection.
Me and
Can
my
I just
wife
type
were
in like D or something?
We like the score. Oh my God, I can't get over the music in that. Man, it's hard to build a world like that, but man, even from the sandworms, oh my God, dude.
Okay, so before I potentially watch this movie, because I saw Baki typing in there, should I just go into this dry or should I watch something?
Nope, dry as hell. No moisturizer, dry like you're a part of the planet. I'm telling you, man, by the end of this film, you're gonna be drinking your own pee.
What the
fuck? You'll know what that means. You'll know what that means.
Chat, why can't I find this, man? You're gonna walk
into your bedroom with your wife and say, "Baby, it's time for another kid," but bring out the flax suits because we using our fluids tonight.
What is happening right now?
I'm telling you, man. Go in there dry. No thoughts, no reviews, no trailers. Break your curse, Matt, of having to watch everything that gives you something about a movie. Watch that shit 100% dry. You and the wife sit down and watch it. I'm telling you, bro. You are going to be like, why haven't I blessed myself sooner? That movie is very underrated. Everyone talks about all these other movies. Like Dune was good.
What do I gotta type in HBO Max to find this damn film? Because typing in Dune literally brings up nothing. Well, except for a trailer, and I can't click anything on it to show it. Did they take it off already? But why would you take it off?
Let me look at my app.
Tech is hype about Doom. Nah, really? Bruh. I couldn't tell.
That shit was good. And the books, bro, get the audiobooks and listen to the audiobooks. I'm telling you, man, the books are so good. The audiobooks on Audible is so well done. It's like listening to a movie. They have voice actors for every character. It's awesome. It's not like Thrawn, even though Thrawn's godlike. It's not like Thrawn. It's very good. I can't even.
Really? Dune on HBO Max. New to HBO Max in March of 2022. Dune. Wait, why is it new now?
Wait, where do we watch Dune at? Oh, we watched Dune on HBO Max.
I guess maybe after its run, they took it off.
They probably take it off and then put it, yeah.
Oh, Blu-ray, digital release, Prime, and then they're putting... That's stupid. Just leave it on there.
Oh, was it on Prime? Oh, maybe it was on Prime.
No, it was on HBO. Oh, God. If you want to watch Dune online, you might be surprised that the Oscar-nominated film isn't on HBO Max, where it first streamed in 2021. That's because the movie is in the awkward in-between waiting period between initial release and its main run on HBO Max. The good news is, for the old Spice Lords and new fans alike, it's available to stream home and is coming back to HBO Max soon. Yeah, I guess its theatrical run, quote unquote, was in HBO Max, but then they threw it to. It's available for purchase and rent online via video
No,
on
dude, you can
demonstrators,
get it. You can
Amazon, and
get it on
Apple.
Prime, bro.
It is a Prime movie right now.
Rent or buy. Yeah, rent that shit.
All right, I'm gonna rent that then, I guess.
Yeah, you got 4K or 1080p, whatever you want to do. High definition. Yeah,
Right,
get
well,
on
I guess I
Amazon,
know what I'm
watch it,
watching
bro. It's
tonight.
worth the money. 100%. Spend the $3.99 or whatever it is to rent it.
Free
Fuck, man, if you got a
99.
4K TV, if you got a 4K TV, watch it in 4K. Like 100%. Don't. Oh my God, I cannot believe you right now. I'm telling you, man. This is gonna be great. This is
I
gonna
guess
be
I
great
know.
for
I
next-
guess I know what another thing we're gonna be talking about. We're gonna hear hopefully your thoughts about the Batman
Bro.
and me probably gushing
Yeah.
about Dune.
Bro,
Be here next
every
week at
cast
12
member
p.m.
of
chat.
Doom was so well done.
Oh, that reminds me.
I'm not upset about any cast. Like it was so. Even Jason Momoa killed it in Dune. Killed
Really?
it. I was
Alright.
really excited because we always see him. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought one of his best roles was in Game of Thrones. I thought
Yeah.
I mean, being able to play that, I was just like, whoa, bro. I don't know if I could do that. Well, maybe I could with who he was. But anyway, but going into this, I was just like, whoa. I love this character, and he's a big star. And I was like, anyway, I can go on this forever. Right, Maki? Yeah. I was out there like, when it came to Jason, I was like, yes. Timothy grew on me so much because like a lot of his roles, I'm just like, Timothy, the fuck, why would they? And I was like, whoa, I don't think there's anybody else that can play. Thank God it wasn't Tim Holland.
Oh my God.
Not in a bad way. I'm just saying the Timothy fit that role to a T. And then the chemistry between him and Zendaya, whole different vibe. It didn't feel like I was watching Peter Parker and MJ. I felt like I was watching something completely different. No, Zendaya is
Nice.
that girl is really good at acting, man. I don't care what people say. I just love how she can literally just take a role and really transform herself. I was watching some
Excuse me.
Euphoria and I was like, who the hell is this? Is she really on drugs? I had to ask the question a couple times because I was like, what's going on? Very, very good.
6-part miniseries. Where's their 6-part miniseries?
Oh, really?
I came out on Sci-Fi.
It's like the biggest miniseries ever on Sci-Fi. Oh, I'll check it out because normally Sci-Fi has really cheesy shit. So I'll check it out.
No, have you ever watched The Expanse?
Yeah,
I mean, that was Sci-Fi, but that was but it was
still cheesy. But it's a good type
Yeah.
of cheesy. It wasn't like overdone.
So I want to make sure I get this out there today. Maybe
Also the
maybe I
100,
shouldn't. No, I'll
pretty
say
good.
it next week. There's 2 things that I didn't think worked with the Batman that we haven't talked about, but I think I'll wait until next week when you see it because I wonder if it's the same thing because it's more story and actor driven, I guess you can kind of say, or the
What,
way it was
Batman?
wrote in the Batman. Yeah, so I want to wait until next week for that one with you because I wonder if it's the same thing. It's like
I'll check it out.
2 things that didn't work.
What are you trying to compare it with?
No. I'm just saying 2 things that I just don't think worked in the film as good as like other things.
Like
or
there
I
was
didn't.
something there that could have been better. Okay.
Yeah, like
I'll give you my thoughts.
yeah.
Okay. I think honestly, I think we're also we're so desperate for a win for DC that we're kind of like, okay, when it comes to certain things, instead of like, I can't believe they did that. This should have been done this. I feel like that's how I'm gonna be.
Man.
I feel like I'm gonna be like, okay, all right.
And you remember going back
perception.
to DC casting. Remember when Heath Ledger, when it was announced that he's going to play Joker,
Oh,
everyone
people hated him. Oh yeah,
dude. The same thing with the same
Robert?
thing with Robert Patterson, and they're
100%.
saying
I
now
was
that
like, what?
he is the best Batman on screen. And
I think that goes to say something that when expectations are like when people automatically give up on you, you feel like you have to, you might put a little bit of extra sauce on that, a little bit more seasoning. I mean, even Robert himself said he wouldn't have casted himself as Batman. Even he said it. So I mean, that's got to be a huge win for him, and I'm super proud of him. I'm really happy that he had a good film.
Though I would say because I've been seeing a lot of it, like tier lists or like what's my number one, I would still say that The Dark Knight, not the series, The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger's Joker, I still think is above this film, but this is.
But that wasn't
right
a Batman
below
film. That was a Joker film.
It was. That movie was
He stole
perfect.
the
I'm
show.
sorry. That movie was perfect. The Batman. If you took out certain things, I still think it would be a lot closer. It'd be tough for me. There are certain things in this film that I think if you took it out, there would be a legit argument if this is better than Arkham Knight. Not Arkham Knight. Excuse me. The Dark Knight. Right behind it, though, here's an interesting one. The Mask of Phantasm. And then 89. The Mask of Phantasm is such a good movie. So those are like my top 3 and 4. But yeah, I mean, Kevin Conroy's voice of Batman is iconic. But like on film. Yeah, he's the best Batman.
I don't see, like I said, The Dark Knight Returns or whatever it was with the Joker. I can't remember anymore. That film was that's Heath Ledger's film. That's not. Batman was a side hoe in that film. Let's just be real.
Like,
yeah,
so
that was not even, that was a Joker film. Like, that was a Joker film we deserved. Like, you know, so I think if it didn't have him in it as Joker, that film would have been, man, you know, at the most. Yeah, I think he God, man.
The Dark Knight.
It's really, it breaks my heart to know that he's not with us anymore. It's like on the level of Chadwick Boseman, break my heart, because
at that time too, yeah.
I would have loved the Joker movie to be about him and not whatever the hell they did. I would have, man, that would have just, you just imagine.
Just same thing with Chadwick Boseman. You want to know where they're going to take this character. What interest is it going to be? Storm? Is it going to be this? Like, what is he going to do with this character? And they never really said what it was, but Christopher Nolan said he was supposed to be a big part of The Dark Knight Rises to end the trilogy. He wasn't just supposed to be in the second one and that's it. And it kind of changed everything in the path and what they went with for the third movie. And man, what could have been with both actors is sad and it's incredible.
But I will have to say, if they would have went with that Joker, they would have to definitely. I don't think the current Harley Quinn would work.
No, you can't. No.
I think it would have to be somebody that can handle that role a little bit better. I feel like the Harley Quinn that we have now, I forgot her name.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah, I feel like she's a great cartoon version of Harley Quinn. I feel like she kind of fits that mold of, like, if a cartoon was to be a live action, she kind of has that feel with it. I think she's a great Harley Quinn. I just think that it could have been done different, and maybe she could play it, but definitely a different style.
Oh, you need a stalker, in love psychopath that is crazy in this role. Like, that's the Harley Quinn you need, and you can really show off. Like, they teased it in the original Suicide Squad, like they're related.
I don't even think they hit the mold yet on the real Harley Quinn.
Yeah, no.
I think Asylum, if they recast Harley Quinn and put her in that,
Dr. Harley Quinzel comes in, and you see how Joker slowly over time manipulates and gets her to turn. They showed like 2 minutes of it in that film, but if they went in on that, like how you're saying, that's a great story that could be told.
I want to know Harley Quinn before Joker.
Yeah,
like that's what I want to see, and I believe if they do it, they knock it out of the park. They have so much potential right now. It's just what is DC gonna do? What is Warner Brothers gonna do with this potential that is just hanging over their heads? Are they going to take it and run with it and revamp themselves? It's the same story as Marvel going bankrupt and shit and just having like last hopes and throwing poop in the wind, and it's finally slapped against the wall and stuck, and now they have all this. You know, I hope DC finds the same type of method to where they're at their wits end and they threw something against the wall. Batman is there. It's there. You know, it's just, what are you going to do with it? I just hope, I really don't, we talked about this before, I just don't want the TV series that they have, all the stuff they got now, coming into this universe. I don't want it. If you have to take the characters, great, but revamp them in this universe. Don't, like, I just don't want that crossover stuff happening. But they can, if they take the casting, fine. If people are happy with the casting, fine. But revamp their characters, make their characters come alive in this universe instead of just being like, hey, remember me from the TV show? I'm in the movie. You know, I just don't want that shit anymore.
Well, I guess we should have hope for that, because this was the start of how they're bringing things into TV. They're taking the Marvel route with this film and expanding on certain characters and expanding on certain areas, bringing it to HBO Max so they can longer form storytelling. Right. I see what you're saying. Yep. But with HBO Max comes the confusion part of it. Is the Batgirl movie that they're putting out tied to this? Because it has Michael Keaton's Batman apparently in it. And that is, if you look at her, you think she's Jeffrey Wright's daughter, but it's also fast forward. So I think Baki said it before, maybe even you too. Like, I actually do want a clear delineation between the Matt Reeves Batverse and the DCEU. Like,
yeah, I don't want the DCEU to be a part of this at all.
It's got to be completely separate in my opinion.
DCEU has the flu, a cough, a contagious illness that will infect everything that it touches if it gets too close.
Keep them shit
keep
separate.
my son away from them. Like, just keep it away. Let them grow up to the fine individual that they're going to be if they are raised correctly. Get away from all this influence.
Yeah.
I just you know, as much as I love Gal Gadot, as much as I love her, keep her over there. To me, she's the only consistent person in the DCEU, other than Jason Momoa. And yeah, just keep them over there in their little fantasy world. Give the Batman some love, man.
I don't think you can retcon anything, even with the Flash trying to do it, unless you retcon it and it's there's a snap, all pun or no pun intended, and the whole universe changes into the Batman. Like you snap it,
I mean,
and literally Ezra Miller is no longer there. You see another Flash that fits this universe. You see another Aquaman that fits this universe. Like, but at the same time, I don't see an Aquaman in this universe. Like, it's
I mean, it's just how they redo it.
Oh, you can retcon.
I honestly think if it all depends on the Flash film. If the Flash film shit just blows up and next thing you know, you have a decision to make, either you start over fresh, but you may not know who you are. You might be a different Flash. You might be a different everything type start, or you keep going with this and he chose to redo the world because the world is effed up already. I'm happy with that. I'm good with that. We can get a new Flash if need be. I'm sorry. I don't think Flash was casted correctly. I don't
feel him. Yeah.
I just don't feel him. I mean, it's not to take away from his acting ability. I just don't feel it, and I don't feel the writing. But I think the Flash has not been done justice. I don't think any of these characters have really been done justice. You know, hopefully I feel that way about Batman. But anyway, we'll see.
Yeah, and the Flash has got he's doing everything for his father and for his mother, essentially. He sees his own self come back in time and his arch enemy X amount in the future kill his mom, and it was all blamed on his father. Like, that's actually a perfect story for this universe, even though it's very sci-fi-esque. But like, that is actually a character that you could really, like you said, it hasn't been portrayed properly.
Yeah, I don't like it either, Aki. The moment I saw the casting and I saw just a snippet of I was like, what have you done? It took me a long time to like the Barry Allen we have on CW. Like, it took me a while to warm up to that. And then they're just gonna rip that shit from me like a Band-Aid that was on a wound that didn't fully heal, and they're gonna just replace it with glue, bitch, please. Anyway, whatever. Hopefully you figure it out. It literally feels like, who wants to play in DC? You all right? Like, it felt like it was one of those things. It was like first come first serve casting. Well, moving on. If you guys want some universes to get into, I highly suggest you watch The 100. It's really good.
Ooh, yeah.
Watch Dune if you haven't watched it already. These are some like fine universes that went a lot of seasons. Definitely check it out. I know The 100 was kind of just thrown out there, but I honestly feel like The 100 can be a lot. They could do a lot with that. And it was one of those shows where I was just like, okay. And then you can't put it down. It's just wild. Yeah, the miniseries of Dune. I'll probably check that out as well. All right. Wow. See, that's why I said do Batman first. How much time is it?
Oh my God. Yeah. It hasn't felt like
time to go.
Oh my God.
See? That's why I was like, yeah, we're going to start with Batman. Because we owed DC this.
Yeah.
You're right, man. We tried our best to say, okay, DC hasn't eaten yet. Let's go ahead and bring him. Okay, goodbye, DC. Now we're just like, come on, DC. This is the table. Yep. Sit down. You don't have to eat fast. It's okay. Food is there. That's how I feel like we have with DC right now. Jesus. We're like, you're finally here, but how are you going to act? Okay. Like, don't. Anyway, I'm just super happy. I just want comic books to win, man. I just want them to win. I think I'm more appalled that you haven't seen Dune yet. Anyway, I'm working on comic book announcements. New Marvel reveals Han Solo and Chewbacca, #1. Okay. Star Wars. Star Wars is in the comic universe right now. Is doing really well in the comic universe right now. Let's just be real. If you now is the perfect time to get into Star Wars. If you because you won't get it from the movies, you'll get it from the TV shows, but at least the comic books is something somewhere you can start. Really, they're kind of doing what they are doing, what they should have done in the movies or the TV shows coming. Well, they're what they're doing in the TV shows, what they should have done in the movies is introduce these characters in their own little universe so you can build some kind of rapport with them, because I was one of the few that really liked Han Solo, but not because of Han Solo.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually
thought
agree with
Childish
you.
Gambino,
Yeah.
or excuse me,
Lando.
yeah, I thought Lando.
Donald.
I thought the movie was about Lando. Who the hell is Han Solo at the end of the movie? It was all about Lando. It should have been called Lando.
Can we go back to that actually?
Yeah,
we were bringing
absolutely.
up Star Wars before. So I for those of you here, obviously Rare Job, we're in the Rare Job family. You know, please listen to the podcast Star Wars and Scotch. I listened to their last episode 76 or 73, I think it was. And they were talking about the future. And I completely forgot. Star Wars Celebrations is next month, starting the day after Obi-Wan drops.
Yes.
So I think a lot of the answers that you just asked question-wise, in regards to what does the future hold, what does the movies hold, what's TV, why, I think we're gonna get a lot of trailers and a lot of information. Because think about it, they didn't have Celebration last year, and we haven't really heard of anything really since, outside of like the press release, hey, this person's playing this. I think we're gonna get a lot of stuff during
Hopefully.
Celebrations. Hopefully, yeah. I think it's gonna be a lot of video game releases and TV shows. I don't know how much movie info, but definitely I think a lot of video game and Disney Plus stuff. Like we're probably gonna get a full on Andor release date, probably with a bunch of trailers as well. More information, obviously, on Kenobi, which we're supposed to get a trailer this week. Rumor mill has it. We were supposed to get a Love and Thunder, but that's nowhere close. I don't understand why. But yeah, that's Darren. And actually, not to gloss over it, for those of you who have Amazon Prime, kind of something that was kind of under the table and just popped out of nowhere. The Boys Diabolical, the Cartoon 9 series, is out now, or yesterday, on Prime. So if you like the Boys series and you want to get a little bit more kind of sideways The Boys stuff, you could check it out today on Amazon via Amazon Video and Prime.
Yeah. Star Wars.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, like I said, Lando was amazing, and I really hope that they expand on Lando. He's an incredible character, and survives a lot.
Yeah,
Lando survives a lot, and we don't know the in betweens, you know. And I thought that Lando stole the show to Han Solo. But anyway, Han Solo and Chewbacca comic book. That relationship and how to
Didn't they say that they have a Lando series with him coming back?
They said that, but we don't. I mean, they said that a long time ago. But you know how they throw poop in the wind, and
okay.
You know, so hopefully it's a thing. I try to not keep my hopes up. I think that he is I think Donald Glover is a fantastic, just a talent.
Donald Faison.
Period. Musician, rapper, actor, poet.
Very talented.
He does it all. He's very, very good. Renaissance man. I loved him in many different movies. Even Martian. I think he was in Martian.
With Matt Damon.
Yeah.
I think he was.
Yeah, he was the one that saved Matt Damon's ass, I think. And to save that team. I believe he was like just the nerd in the back and the guy in the chair, so to speak. And I thought he did a fantastic job with that. But anyway, Donald Glover, I mean, he deserves more. Didn't like him casted in Spider-Man, but I understand why they did it. But anyway, so yeah, Star Wars. Han Solo has a lot. I mean, this is going to be one of those make or break TV series because it's not Han Solo, excuse me, Obi-Wan, because that has baggage, has weight, and who knows? I honestly think they spend too much time on Jedis and fucking like I really think they need to do a good Sith Empire show. We need to see the other side instead of calling them evil, because Republic is just as evil, and I really want to see that side of it open. I really hope they give Sith finally justice, because I hate how they portray them in the movies. There hasn't been one that I enjoyed ever, besides the animations and definitely the books. The books do them justice. Other than that, shit. The Batman, speaking of Batman, has a new villain in town. Her name is Angel Breaker. She has new concept art. Would love to show you guys, but I can link you.
Soon.
Yeah, soon we'll have all this stuff up and showing you guys. I know it kind of feels like there's a link in the chat. She looks awesome. Looks very Marvel though.
Yeah.
Other than a DC villain, very supernatural looking just by looking at it. But she's an accomplice of Talia al Ghul. Interesting. She's upcoming one-shot Shadow War Alpha 1, ensuing Shadow War crossover event. A new concept art has just been unveiled, as you see in that link. I think she's definitely appealing, but she looks very Marvel, very X-Men-ish. She looks like
she looks like a what is that, Omega Red kind of, with the black and the red.
Kind of cross between him and Daredevil.
Yeah, it's very
cool.
very weird in a good way. I think.
Yeah, it's definitely not what I expected from a DC.
From a Batman villain too.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty cool, man. Looking forward to that. Also, I know this is kind of quick news, but just because we spent so much time with Batman, we talk about like Marvel and DC as enemies all the time, or rivals, so to speak, not enemies. But there's a crossover between Batman and Spider-Man, and this is not something that's like foreign. They've done crossovers before, but this one has Batman, Bruce Wayne, Peter Parker, Spider-Man. I'm talking about old school Spider-Man, spectacular Spider-Man with the webbing under his arms type thing, joining up with each other to take on the Joker and Carnage team up, which is wild.
What?
Yeah.
That's
I'll post this in the chat
wild.
as well. So you can have a look at that.
Who's publishing this? Is this going through Marvel or DC, or like where is this? It doesn't
look like a
from?
Marvel art. It looks like DC art to me, just by looking at the art alone.
Yeah, it does. That's actually a very interesting team up. When Marvel and DC do cross, when the Marvel and DC universe crossed over, Batman and Spider-Man teamed up to stop the Joker and Carnage. What is this?
Yeah.
Scott Hamm and Mark Farmer.
Oh,
great
wow.
names.
Crossover series of the worlds DC and Marvel coexisting naturally in the same plane with Batman, even aware of the events with Maximum Carnage. Whoa, that's a callback. Holy crap. This might be interesting. I might have to see if it's on Comixology. In this merged world, Carnage is being held as usual at the Ravencroft Institute. Cassandra Breyer explains that she has a radical new procedure that can put an end to Carnage for good. The implanting of a microchip into Carnage's brain, probably Cassidy, I would think, instead of Carnage, because it's a symbiote, that will render him completely docile. Let's see. She similarly takes her microchip to Gotham City and gains authority to implant the chip in the Joker's brain as well. Dr. Breyer believes that she has done the impossible. She has effectively defeated both Carnage and the Joker, two of the most dangerous men on the planet. Her sense of victory is cut short when Carnage symbiote bursts out of Cletus, Cassidy, its human host, and reveals that it's shorted the microchip. For a moment, it was inserted. Interesting.
Wow. Hearing team
Carnage
up
goes on a rampage in Gotham.
Man,
he's actually perfect for Gotham.
Yes, he is. Yes, he
All he
is.
wants to do is kill people.
Especially, I mean, that is actually perfect. Absolutely perfect. That's why they went with it, probably. I mean, it's a perfect character. Just blood everywhere. Oh, man.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's old. Because when they said Maximum Carnage, I was like, oh, this is a callback.
Yeah.
This is a callback. That's pretty cool. I don't know if those two worlds can like live simultaneously together, just because they're so different. Like DC is so different from Marvel, and but it's really nice to see a crossover here and there. Just imagine Carnage taking over the Joker's body, and
yeah, jeez,
that'd be interesting. I'll go OP is that. But other comics that you can read, The Punisher has new comics coming out. Wolverine has new comics coming out. There's a Galactus series going on. The Punisher series is being included with a lot of Avengers stuff. Spider-Gwen has new comics coming out, which we said when there's new releases if you start seeing people in the comics over and over again, you might see them on the big screen or on TV series, because that's how Marvel operates. Yeah. So yeah, comic books and stuff is coming alive. Now, big question is this, a little homework for Brain of Thought, everybody. What are y'all favorite comic books of the Batman since the movie is out? Ooh.
That's a great question, because he has
there's a few actually.
so many
Batman
great
comic books slap,
stories,
dude. I mean,
man.
there's too many. I loved the intense anxiety I got from the Batman comic when he was trying to figure out the identity of the Joker. Hated the ending. Loved the build up. Hated the ending. That was one of my favorite moments, because it took a long time for that series to like start giving us, they were giving us little pieces, and it was feeding it to us like really slowly. And I was like, oh my God, I need to buy the next one. I need to do the next one. I need to do the next one. Yeah, like Death of the Family. Yeah. But at the end, I was just like, the hell is this? It was a cop out, you know? So
Son of a...
yeah.
Ah, man.
The one that ended with him finding out that there's 3 Jokers.
Oh, that was actually, he ended up
being one of them.
That was actually relatively recent. Yeah, over the past couple of years.
That was like years ago. Yeah, I was just like, oh my God, bro. Anyway,
I mean, two of the more
was good.
I mean, two of the more recent ones that come to mind is obviously one of the recent ones was Court of Owls. That was just such a unique and different take on Batman, and introduced this new villain that we have never thought of or heard of, or could have been bigger than the Joker before him. Hush was really good. The whole Thomas Elliot story. The Killing Joke, like you said. There's a lot of good.
The Killing Joke made me pause. So I give it that. I was just like,
yeah, that was a
what?
That definitely was a dark one. You're not.
Yeah,
you're definitely
right
not
there.
wrong.
That went the book
ham,
and the series. I mean the animation. I was just like, this. All right, okay, we're going down that route. I did not. Wow, you know, it was definitely a lot of moments in there. Those are really good. Good question.
I hated what they did in the DVD. That's like the one DVD to release that I absolutely hated from them.
Which one?
The Killing, not the Killing Joke. Oh my God, the one we were just talking about.
Oh, the one with him trying to figure out who's Joker's identity.
No, not the Joker's identity.
I was about to say, I didn't know they released that.
Was it the Killing Joke? No, the Killing Joke is with Jason Todd, right?
Yeah, he beats
no,
the shit
the
out
other
of
one. God, why? It's like, it's that thing that it's like on my mouth. Alan, the Killing Joke. Sorry, no, the Killing Joke is
Hush,
which is the one where he shoots Barbara Gordon, and she becomes paralyzed. Like that's, you see the Joker finally like do something like. That is the Killing Jokes.
Killing Joke?
Oh my God, that is the Killing Jokes. I'm thinking of I don't know what I'm thinking of then.
All right, Baki's saying the Killing Joke.
Sorry, no, it is the Killing Joke. I'm thinking of, I don't know what I'm thinking of right now. I don't, did I just mute myself? No, I just muted myself. I don't know what I'm thinking about then. I apologize, chat and Frank. What am I thinking of, man? Huh. I mean, yeah, The Long Halloween is definitely up there, of course. Hush is a fantastic one. Batman R.I.P. is very interesting. The Court of Owls, like we said, I can't think of that many more.
Those stand out in my mind the most. But yeah. So we're coming up on time. Thanks for that. That was a good question, Baki. Thank you. Here's some homework for you.
Ooh, homework. I like homework. No, I don't. What am I saying?
Batman, if you go see it. Watch, either you can, I mean, for bonus credits, you can watch Michael Keaton's Batman or, anything leading up to it. And that way you can get something fresh in your head. Batman Begins or, don't, all the other stuff in between is really just whatever. But watch those
Nipples
two and see, where the Batman lies. And keep Batman fresh in your head because we need to do, it's not a comparison in a negative way. But since Batman is brutal, how brutal is Moon Knight going to be? And we're going to take those two and put them side by side and see which one is the more brutal, character,
Ooh,
and
that's
along
actually
with the
great.
development of, the character themselves, and see which universe that, fit the bill of the vigilante. Because they're very comparable, those two.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just don't know about Moon Knight. Period. It'd be
Yeah.
nice to see like what people think of him.
Yo, did you see the new poster with
Yeah,
what is it,
and putting on
Mr.
the glove.
Knight? With Mr. Knight, you put on a glove. Yeah,
It looks good.
that's really
It
cool.
looks good. The outfit looks really. I actually one of the best outfits that Marvel's come up with. I feel. It looks really really good. I'm really excited for it.
You see, that's
my
where
bar is not high for it.
okay.
Which I tend
Probably is
to
a good thing.
to do a lot. Because it's new. There's a couple of things that go into it. A lot of people don't know who Moon Knight is. He's a very difficult character to act. So it's going to really bring out the acting scenes for what's his name?
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. I was gonna call him Pedro. That's when you know you do a good job. When I can't, can't do the difference between real life you and who you act as. It's gonna be a very tough job to pull off. I think he could do it. Obviously,
Yeah.
I mean, we saw from the trailer that it looked pretty good, but in long-term format, will it deliver the message that it needs to? TV series are really good for us, but really hard to keep people interested because it's multiple shows. So we'll see. I think they're going to do a good job. I think it's going to have a lot of Easter eggs in it and a lot of moments in it. I believe it's going to be there. I think the real thing that I have a high bar for, and I don't want to have it for, is Doctor Strange. So
I think you're fine with that, though. I think you're fine with the high bar. Yeah,
it's been building up, right?
Yeah.
The hype it's like an octopus, Now we actually get to see the body and not the tentacles. So
6 episodes.
It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, 6 episodes.
So.
And I actually disagree with that
6.
statement, Baki. I do think that this is going to be as dark, if not darker, than what you think. Because if you didn't see, which came out last week and we didn't talk about it, or just recently came out this week, the Netflix Marvel shows Punisher and all in their glory are coming to Disney Plus. So there is going to be, they are taking the characters that most likely should be in a not so PG environment, and they're bringing them in. And this is a great stepping point to also bring Deadpool in too. So now he's the biggest one of all. Like he's the R. But yeah.
I honestly think, seeing the trailer where he's beating the shit out of somebody or something on the ground multiple times. I mean, that was a little, I was like, oh, okay. I was a little taken back by that. I mean, he was punching the dude for a while. The body was limp. So
you know what we have to do too before that comes out, Multiverse of Madness. Even though I know Patrick Stewart is maybe in it because he says they're using his voice. We should do we should really go through and see, like, not necessarily go through, but for homework, if mutants are coming in, like,
next
how
Saturday.
are they going to be introduced? Are they already introduced? Is something spiked it? Is Multiverse of Madness going to do it? Like, what is it going to be? Because since we've last talked, I've come up with a couple more theories myself. So I would really love to know what chat thinks, you think, and just kind of bring that home as well too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. My hopes are up there, Baki. I mean, I honestly, I don't need over the top grittiness and brutality in Marvel movies just because the Marvel universe is not that. I need it in DC because
it's DC, yeah.
I like having those separate worlds, because if they were both the same thing, then there's no reason for me to go see one or the other, Also, for homework, bring your favorite mutant to the table. Which mutant would you like to see live and in action? Do some homework on mutants. Look them up. Let us know. Bring some names to the channel. This will be the last week that we'll have the Comics on Rare Drop channel, apparently. I think. So I think that was said. I could be wrong.
I thought it was a couple more weeks until we got that quote unquote plan in place. Smile. Chat, regardless, follow us on Twitter.
Oh, wait. We'll be pushing to both.
Excuse me.
Okay, yeah, no. Soon we'll be moving it off this channel. I don't know, honestly. Soon we'll be moving off this channel to a channel that's the comics show. So just keep those eyes up for that. We're gonna need your help with being there, because we'll be pushing everything to that, but we're going to need you there. So make sure you follow the Twitter, and that's where you're going to get all the information on that when it becomes a thing. So just keep that in mind.
Twitter's in chat right now. If you're not in chat listening to us on podcast or via video VOD, that's the same thing. Make sure it's twitter.com/the Commix show. Comics spelled with 2 M's and an X. Words.
Yeah, feel free to put your mute in there or bring it to you with chat. Like I said, we're going to be going through some changes. These are positive changes. They're very good changes. We have a lot to announce for you guys coming up. And me announcing that is not a break or nothing. It's just to getting your minds ready, because I want you guys to physically be there. And like whenever we launch Commix 2.0, you're there. Or actually, it's not 2.0.
Really,
this
1.0.
is actually the Comics show. Right now, we're sitting in pilot land. This is a pilot. It's been a pilot for 36 episodes. It's something that we it's literally a experimentation to see how well it's received by the public. And if people like listening or seeing this, if it failed, we would have to, move on, because time is money. But good news is it's not a failure. So, if you like the comic show, make sure you let people know that you like the comic show. It's very important for you to post it. Just saying. So feel free to post on the comic show on Twitter, follow the channel, follow the Twitter, and let us know what you think, because it's really important to us to get people interested in the show. All right.
And and you know what's crazy too, Frank? I just thought about this because I was thinking about this yesterday with my daughter. We're coming up on our 1 year very quickly too, man. May 2nd, I think, was our first show together in last year. So like we got a bunch of things coming up, chat. We got a bunch of things coming up.
Yep. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us. As always, listeners out there in the podcast land, you are a huge part of the show. We would greatly thank you for listening to us while you're, doing whatever you're doing, going to work, listening at work, getting through those really annoying days. We appreciate you being here. It's been an absolute pleasure being here with you today. It's just like literally fanboying over Batman, because at the end of the day, DC needs to win, and I think they finally found something. So we'll see what potential happens out of that. I'll watch it and let you know what I feel like. Matt's gonna do us justice and watch Dune finally.
Yes.
And we'll get his take on that. And people in the chat, everybody here, thanks for the conversations. What a fantastic day. Those that are watching and from any other websites, thank you. Make sure you come and chat next time. We'll have updates and stuff going on the Twitter. Make sure you follow that at The Comic Show. My name is Technique. You can find me at twitch.tv/Technique with no U, no E, just a Q, and on Twitter, Technique TV. Matt, where can I find you?
My name's Matt, aka Nighthawk Plays, spelled with a Z. I'm lucky enough to have them everywhere. So whether it's my streaming on here on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and anything and everything in between, it is Nighthawk Plays. I will be watching Dune this weekend, or at least before Saturday, to make Papa Frank proud of me again. So between Dune and the Batman, go check it out. We'll be back here next week at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those of you in podcast land, thank you. We love you, everybody.
That'll be it for the comic show. See you next time on The Mix. Bye.
Boy.